Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating topic that's puzzled humans for centuries. Why do dogs howl at the moon? Is it some mystical connection, an ancient legend, or is there a scientific explanation? Let's explore together. Before we delve into the specifics, let's talk a bit about the behavior of howling itself. Dogs are known for their vocalizations, and howling is one of the most distinctive sounds they make. But why do they howl? Howling is actually a form of communication. In the wild, wolves howl to communicate with their pack, to signal their location, or to warn off other animals. Domestic dogs have inherited this behavior from their wolf ancestors. Dogs and wolves share a common ancestor, and many of the behaviors we see in dogs today can be traced back to their wild roots. Howling is one of these behaviors. But why specifically at the moon? This is where things get interesting. There's actually no concrete evidence that dogs howl more at the moon than at any other time. However, the belief that they do has been around for centuries. Let's explore some of the myths and legends that have contributed to this belief. In many cultures, the moon has been a symbol of mystery and magic. Ancient civilizations often associated the moon with various deities and supernatural events. For example, in Roman mythology, the goddess Diana was associated with the moon and was often depicted with dogs. Similarly, in Norse mythology, there is a tale of two wolves, Skal and Hati, who chase the sun and the moon. When they catch them, it signifies the end of the world. These stories have fed into the idea of a mystical connection between dogs and the moon. These myths and legends help shape the cultural perception that dogs are somehow connected to the moon. But let's dig deeper. Could there be a scientific explanation for why dogs might howl at night, especially during a full moon? So, let's break down the science. First, dogs are more likely to howl when they are lonely or anxious. At night, when the household is quiet and everyone is asleep, dogs may feel isolated and howl to seek attention or companionship. This can be especially true for dogs that are left outside or in a separate room. Second, nighttime is generally quieter than daytime, which means that sounds travel further. Dogs have an acute sense of hearing, and they might hear other dogs howling in the distance. This can trigger a response in them, leading to a chorus of howls. Lastly, during a full moon, there's more light at night. This increased visibility can make nocturnal animals more active, and dogs might howl in response to seeing or hearing these animals. So, while the moon itself isn't causing the howling, the conditions associated with a full moon night could contribute to it. That's fascinating, right? So, it's more about the environmental factors than the moon itself. But what about the belief that wolves, the ancestors of dogs, howl at the moon? Does that have any basis in reality? Wolves do howl more at night, but again, it's not specifically at the moon. Nighttime is when wolves are most active, and howling helps them communicate over long distances in the dark. The moon, being a prominent feature in the night sky, might have simply become associated with this behavior because it's more visible during these nocturnal howling sessions. Let's talk a bit about the social aspect of howling. In the wild, howling is a way for wolves to keep in touch with their pack members. Do domestic dogs use howling in a similar way? Absolutely. Domestic dogs may howl to get the attention of their human family members or to communicate with other dogs. Howling can serve various purposes, from expressing loneliness to signaling alertness or excitement. So, when we hear our dogs howling, it's important to consider what they might be trying to communicate. Are they lonely, anxious, or maybe just responding to another dart in the distance? Thanks to the wonders of modern science, we can understand the real reasons behind why dogs howl. And it's not as mysterious as we once thought. Now, let's take a moment to debunk some common myths and misconceptions about dogs and the moon. Myth number 1. Dogs howl more during a full moon. As we've learned, there's no direct link between the moon phase and howling. It's the environmental factors at night that play a bigger role. Myth number 2. Dogs can sense lunar phases. While dogs have incredible senses, there's no evidence to suggest they are specifically tuned into the lunar cycle. Their behavior is more likely influenced by the immediate environment and stimuli. Myth number 3. Howling is a sign of distress or bad luck. In reality, howling is a natural form of communication for dogs. It's not inherently a sign of distress, though it can be in some cases. And as for bad luck, that's purely a cultural superstition with no basis in fact. So, what can we do if our dog is howling excessively? Here are a few tips to help manage this behavior. Tip number 1. Ensure your dog gets plenty of exercise and mental stimulation. A tired dog is less likely to howl out of boredom or anxiety. Tip number 2. Spend quality time with your dog. Regular interaction and companionship can reduce feelings of loneliness and the need to howl for attention. Tip number 3. Provide a comfortable and secure sleeping environment. If your dog feels safe and cozy, they are less likely to howl during the night. Tip number 4. If your dog is howling in response to other dogs, consider using white noise or calming music to mask the outside sounds. Tip number 5. Consult with a veterinarian or a professional dog trainer if the howling persists. They can help identify any underlying issues and provide personalized advice. So, the next time you hear your dog howling at the moon, remember that it's more about their natural instincts and the environment than any mystical connection. By understanding the reasons behind the howling, we can better address our dog's needs and ensure they feel happy and secure. Thanks for joining me on this journey to uncover the real reason why dogs howl at the moon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating insights into the world of our furry friends. See you next time.